In this video we will describe how to create an object detection system to use in conjunction with the sea perch. To create this system we used a photoelectric sensor, a piezo buzzer, and some wiring. So the photoelectric sensor sends out a red visible light, and if there's any objects within the path of the light will reflect back off the object back to the sensor, and the sensor is able to tell how far objects are. If the object is within the detection range of the sensor, it will send out a voltage to the piezo buzzer and alert us that there's something in our path. So we have a few tools that we need to make the object detection system. Crimpers, scissors, and a voltmeter. So we'll introduce the materials that you'll need to make your own object detection system. Most importantly, you need to obtain some sort of photoelectric sensor. There are three main types of photoelectric sensors. For this project you'll need to find one called a diffused photoelectric sensor. You'll need a buzzer of some sort that will alert you, a 9-volt battery, and some wires. So we're going to have 3 different wires. And we need electric tape, a Ziploc plastic bag, a couple butt connectors to crimp wire together, and 3 pairs of alligator clips. So the first step in all this is to identify the 3 wires that are coming out of your photoelectric sensor. It'll be a positive, a negative, and a voltage out. Here's the diagram on our photoelectric sensor. As you can see, you have brown being positive, blue is your ground, and black is your output. You're just going to extend each of these 3 wires so that they can reach at least 25 feet so the sea perch can go down in the water a little bit. So how we're going to do that is take a butt crimp, and we'll stick one wire in. We'll stick the other end in there. It's kind of tricky. And then you'll take your crimper so there we go. You can pull a little bit to make sure they're snug in there. So you'll repeat that for each of the 3 wires. So the next step is we're going to use this 9-volt battery. We can check to see if this battery is hot. Common way is to stick it to your tongue. I'll try that real fast. It's hot. Don't try that at home though. The best way to check is using a voltmeter. We'll just stick these 2 prongs on there. Voltmeter gives a reading of about 8.3 volts, 8.4. So we have a good 9-volt battery. We are going to connect our 9-volt battery to our photoelectric sensor using alligator clips. So we're going to connect one alligator clip to the positive end of the battery and one to the negative end of the battery. The negative end of the battery has a octagon on it, and the positive has a circle. So you're going to connect the negative end of the battery to the ground wire on your photoelectric sensor, and the positive end of your battery to your positive wire on your photoelectric sensor. Now we're going to see if it works. And when it gets close to an object, you might be able to see there's a little yellow light that comes on. So right about there, it's on. And you can change that, the setting of the distance detects, by this little knob up on the top, by either using a screwdriver or your fingernail works as well. But right now it's just set to a very, very small distance. If you just hook this to your sea perch, all it's going to do is turn that little light on to notify you that there's something there. But if it's underwater, you're not going to be able to see that very well. And so we're going to implement a little piezo buzzer that's going to buzz when the photoelectric sensor detects an object in the C-purchase path. So we need to wire this up to the photoelectric sensor. We will connect the negative wire from the piezo buzzer to the ground wire on your photoelectric sensor, and then connect the positive wire on your piezo buzzer to the output voltage wire on your sensor, and then we will test the photoelectric sensor to see if it works. So there, and you can hear it going off because it's detecting it. But the second we take it above, so it's not in the detection range anymore, it stops. But once that sensor gets within the detection range, it'll make a buzz. So here is the schematic for our photoelectric sensor wiring. As you can see, we have the piezo buzzer hooked up to the battery, which is connected using alligator clips to our photoelectric sensor. What we're going to do now is waterproof our photoelectric sensor. What you want to do is stick your photoelectric sensor inside the bag, and then you want to pull it nice and tight so it's wrapped flush up against the lens. So if you make it tight enough, then it kind of tricks the photoelectric sensor and it thinks that the plastic bag is part of the lens. If you don't have it flush enough, if you have creases or anything like that, it might trip the sensor and it'll think that there's actually something there, and then your object detection system is not going to work. So we're going to take a piece of electric tape. We're going to tape that, make sure it's nice and flush. Plastic bag nice and flush up against the sensor. So you're going to proceed to tape the rest photoelectric sensor up here to the wire to make sure no water can get in. Once you're done waterproofing your photoelectric sensor, it should look something like this. Make sure that no water can get in. Another point of concern that we need to waterproof is these attachments to the wires. The easiest way to do that is just put them all together. We'll wrap them all up in some electric tape. Once you're done waterproofing, it should look something like this. And now we're ready to go test this photoelectric sensor out in the water. So we'll put it in, and you notice that it's not beeping or anything, it's not detecting the water. It just acts as the lens on it. So, but as we move this photoelectric sensor closer to the side of the sink, you'll notice that you'll hear the buzzer and see the light. Mount this to your C-perch using zip ties, and you should be ready to go. Detect when you have objects in your path to avoid collisions. It really is a pretty cool, pretty simple project to do.